Alright, I've changed the setup in order to show you live how we can create a virtual environment with Python, and also how we can transpose, we can move the libraries inside one virtual environment to another project and its related virtual environment. So on the right side of the screen you can see my Windows prompt, and I'm already moved it to the Python projects folder in my desktop. Using the Windows folder Explorer, you can see what is inside the Python projects on the bottom left side of the screen. On the top left side of the screen instead, I show you what is the content inside the hello.txt file that is present, that is inside the Python projects folder. Notepad++ is a common editor. We could use whatever text editor we want. So our first goal is to start the project by creating a specific folder. We will do this using the command line. Since we are already in Python projects, we can type the command make directory and type the name of the directory. Since this is our first Python project, we will call the project. No, here we go, project 1. Finally we did it. Alright, and as you can see, and using the Windows folder Explorer, a project 1 folder has been created. Now we want to enter inside of this folder, but also using the command line, and we run cd project 1. Here we go, we are inside project 1. Next thing to do is to create the Python virtual environment. And since we are in our project 1, the environment, yes, will be called Venv1. In order to create that virtual environment, we have to run Python venv, which is the command, and then the virtual environment name, which will be venv1. We run this line, and you will see that inside the project 1 folder, another folder has been created, the venv1 folder. That inside it has a few other folders. In particular, the directory scripts is very important, and inside it a few executable will be created, as you can see here live. And the important one is this one, the activate batch file, that we will call using the command line. So, taking a look to the command line, the process of creating the virtual environment is completed, it has been done, and now we have to activate the environment. We want to enter inside the environment. In order to do so, since we are on Windows, we have to type venv1/scripts. We want to move inside of the scripts folder and run which executable, the activate.bat, but we could also not specify the extension of the file. It's the same. So we run this line, and the virtual environment 1 has been activated, as you can see on the left side here. We have created the virtual environment. Now we want to install some dependencies, some libraries. And in particular, we want to install the pandas libraries. In order to do so, we will run pip install and type the name, the official name of the library, which is again pandas. Installing pandas will also install other libraries, the dependencies of that libraries. For example, here you can see NumPy, Python datautil, PyDs, 6 are other libraries that pandas requires in order to work properly. So the pip package management system recognizes what pandas needs and also collects and installs the dependencies. We can see this live, the creation of the dependencies live, by entering inside Venv and going inside the lib folder. As you can see, other folders has been created, like the NumPy folder, the Python datautil, the PyZ, the 6, and then finally live we have seen the creation of the pandas folder. The process of collecting and installing has finally completed, because the prompt itself tells us that it has successfully installed NumPy. Which version? The 1.19.4 version, the pandas 1.1.4 version, etc. This warning is not important for us. So moving a little bit, we have our virtual environment now has some libraries inside it. But we are working on 2 projects, and we want to use the same libraries in that project from this one. What can we do? Well, we have to freeze, to save all the dependencies in this virtual environment and move that list to the other project. In order to do so, we run again the pip freeze, and the txt file is by convention named requirements.txt. The requirements.txt has been created, and you can see this txt file in the Windows Explorer, but we can also open that file thanks to our editor, text editor, and you can see that inside the requirements.txt file we find the list of all libraries with their specific version specified in it. As we can see here, we have inside our virtual environment we have the NumPy library, which version? The 1.19.4, as the prompt was saying here. Very good. Now we have stored the list of our libraries inside the virtual environment 1, and we can finally move that list and to another project. In order to do so, we have to deactivate the virtual environment, and we are still inside the project 1. We have to move outside project 1 and go back to Python projects. So right now we are here. We have to begin a new project. So we make another directory called project 2. That is our second project. And we move inside this project 2. We are here again. What we are gonna do, we are Python Venv, yes, the virtual environment will be named Venv2. We wait a little bit, and in the same process as before, the Venv2 folder has been created, and inside it we find these three folders. So with in particular, since we are in Windows, the scripts folder is our way to activate the virtual environment. Also note that the scripts folder, if you are using a Unix machine, will not be created, but you will find the bin folder. Alright, so the process of creating the second virtual environment has been completed. Now again we have to enter inside that environment, and in order to do so we have to activate it. So we move to Venv, scripts, and we run the activate file. Inside the Venv2 file, now we don't want to install one by one the libraries, but we want to take advantage of the requirements.txt we have created before. So, in order to simplify the process, since we are on Windows and we have a good folder explorer, we move on project 1, we copy the requirements.txt and we paste it on the projects 2 folder. Now we run the pip install /r, since we are in requirements, and we type the requirements.txt file. We run this command and the virtual environment will install the libraries that are specified inside the requirements.txt with that specific version. In particular, in this way, we can move from one machine to another without any problems, because we can also bring to us the requirements.txt that allow us to work in the same manner as before. But also we avoid some incompatibilities between two libraries, because, for example, Python requires that specific version of Pandas requires that specific version of NumPy to work properly. So, if this works correctly in one virtual environment, then we can simply move this right set of libraries and their versions to another project or virtual environment. Also, these requirements are independent of the machine we are working in. If we can move the requirements.txt between one Unix machine to a Windows machine and still operate with the same Python libraries. So the process here has been completed, as you can see, and all the libraries are successfully installed, and of course they have the same version as in the Venv1. So now we can activate this virtual environment and we can move on with the other slides.